are we shareable? Are we able to share on Facebook? Let's see. Here we go. How was work today, everyone? You want to talk about it?
Are in the
Give us a
process.
second to get the YouTube started.
Yeah, obviously it's loading. It's going live. We're just waiting for you to pick it up. Hey, and it looks like we're just about eligible to go to live once they just pick it up, and then we should be able to get
Nice,
busy.
nice.
Okay, and I believe we are live on two. So let's run the trailer, guys.
All right. So yeah, if you're looking on Facebook, you might want to pull up YouTube if you can. Elbow Grease Live. You can just search that and we'll pop right up there. Elbow Grease Live. There is I'll put a link in the chat on Facebook so that you can see the YouTube because Todd's been working super hard at that. Um, but yeah, looks very good. Todd, let me know now.
Yeah, I'm right now, bro. Yeah, man, we're able to get started. And again, forgive us for some reason. There must be a lot of people on. We haven't, the stream status has been up and down all day today. So
Okay. All right. Well, we ready to get started?
yeah, man, we're
All
actually
right,
ready to
man.
get started.
Well, yeah, this is good. Good. Well, This is Elbow Grease, episode 5, and you see the title of the show is "Do You Zone Out at Work?" Now, Elbow Grease, if this is your first time seeing us, it is made of myself, Leland Bambos, a career salesperson, career employee, um, W-2 employee, and my partner Ty Jones, who's done a lot who is doing a lot in business, and as far as being an entrepreneur. How about you introduce yourself, Ty?
Hey, what's going on, family? Again, this is Ty Jones, and No, I'm excited to be here. We've done a lot. We've done a lot together, me and my co-host, Glenn. And again, this is getting started. This is the beginning. Elbow Grease Live is huge. It's going to be amazing to stay with us as we work through these obstacles, as we begin to make a dream and a reality, as we begin to manifest everything it is that we want and that we speak. And what you're seeing is the ability to manifest your own reality in Elbow Grease Live. And we are super, super, super ecstatic about it. And we really appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, and this show, Elbow Grease, is inspired by working people. We don't talk a whole lot about celebrities and who's this, who's that. This is about working people and what we do. It's a brand dedicated to the worker, the working woman, the working man, and sharing their stories. And tonight we're going to talk about zoning out at work because it happens. What kind of inspired me with this title is I work right here. This is my home office area, and I got my desk, my computer, and right here to my right is a big TV, and I'm at a point now. I started a new job just a couple weeks ago. I think I'm good, and I'm already at a point where I've internalized the processes of the job. I internalized, what to say. I work every day, and it's like 100 miles an hour. Boom, 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 boom. Well, now I'm at a point where I feel like I need a little distraction to help me get through the day. So I'm flipping through the channels. I stumble across Netflix, and I stumble across no, what's Netflix? I decided to go to Amazon Prime, and I've been using Amazon Prime. It's just deliveries for a long time, but I very rarely get on the app. I saw that Child's Play, and that took me back to Chucky, and that was one of my favorite horror movies from back in the day, the old one. And I started watching the new one. And like, movie's trash, but it provided me a good hour and a half distraction, background noise, for me to kind of glance at, see someone get cut, killed, whatever, and I can continue on my day. So that was kind of myself zoning at work. And Ty gave me some tips on what some others to look at, but there's a lot of things different people do. And zoning out, I had to look up the Webster's Dictionary definition of that, and it looks like zoning out. It just means that your brain is switched over to autopilot. It's a couple different sources, but your brain's switched over to autopilot. You know what you're doing. So I kind of wonder, is it really such a bad thing? Ty, have you ever zoned out while working?
Yeah, zoned out at work. It actually it was a reminder of how much I really wasn't happy at what I was doing. I'd rather be someplace else or doing something else. You know how I go. You're thinking about that football game you got coming up, and you're learning out. Even when we were in high school, buddy. You know what I mean? We supposed to be focusing on studies and social studies class or English class. And I am thinking about Friday, 7:00 p.m. kickoff. And how will I catch the first body I'm going to catch running down that field? You know what I mean? So yeah, zone out at work, zone out in my professional career. Absolutely. We'll be in a position where I'm like, man, I wish I could do this, or I could do this so much better. Oh, if only this was this way or that way. So I zone out. So for me, my zoning out was just pretty much a direct relation of just imagining where I wanted to be and where I was not, and what I had to do to get there. So I use my zone out moments as an ability to sharpen up or plan and organize to where I needed to go or where I needed to be.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that. There are some times when I'm zoning out, like when I'm watching a movie, and today I was zoning, or yesterday when I was zoning out. It wasn't like I was unsatisfied, but there are plenty of zoning out activities. And we went over a little bit last week. I got my first call calling in. I'll give them in a second. But one of the most popular zoning out activities for people to participate in is looking for another job. But I got another call, Juice, on the line. Let me bring him in. Juice. Connecting. Juice.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, man. Oh, looking good. I like headphones.
You know what? I have AirPods, but he's suck when it comes to talking to people, so
Okay.
I had to find an expected thing.
Name, where you from, and what you do for work?
Well, my name is Jamal. I go by Juice just because it's a confusing name and it's a good nickname to have. But 30 years old. Grew up in the area, same from where you guys are originally from, and I work for the Movie Tavern. I've been with the Movie Tavern for over 8 years now. I started in the Collegeville area, and I traveled around. I've been opened up 2 stores in PA, and transferred over to the Ohio store when it was around. It's no longer a store anymore.
Yeah.
In Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And then things kind of went south there for me, and I just tried to get out as fast as I could. Went to Syracuse, New York, where I'm at now.
Okay.
I'm just living now.
Okay. Nice. So, what was that your first? Well, I know. I'll tell. Wait, I met you.
Yeah.
Remember, we worked at Best Buy.
Best Buy, yeah.
Yeah.
We traveled to what was it, Downingtown for like training, right?
Yeah. I remember. Hop in your car. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a bunch of goofballs in the classroom.
So yeah, so that was some part-time work I was doing, and it was around before the holidays time, right? But
Yeah, because they were doing seasonal training around that time.
yeah. So no, the main reason why I decided to do that because I thought I was going to get a major discount on like
Oh man,
TVs, and I was thoroughly disappointed.
yeah. Well, some of this stuff has good discounts on, but I will say that's actually the reason that I got fired from there because uh, mom wanted a bunch of discounted stuff, and I think the rule was is you have to use your own type of pay, so your credit card, your debit card,
Okay.
your money, you can't use anybody else's
Okay.
discount. Mom used it. She used her debit card, and then they like pulled me in
Using
the
your
office,
employee discount with her debit
yeah,
card.
and they pulled me into
Man.
the office like the next week, and I'm like, look, I'll bring everything back, and I'll pay for it myself. You know what I mean? Like if it's that big of a deal. But I was a nughead back then. I was always being late, and they had every reason to fire me, to be honest. Before we start with anything else, let me just say this, Ty, man, you don't know me, and that's completely fine. You were a fucking dog in football, man. You were a fucking dog. Okay, I was just this little scrawny fast receiver for Springport. But let me tell you something. And if anybody doesn't know on the show what kind of player you were in high school, you were a fucking dog. And just watching the past podcast and seeing, I didn't know that you had that neck problem before playing high school football.
Yes,
that just makes you even more of a fucking legend. Okay, that's just crazy to me.
Thanks, bro.
Because that's one thing you played D tackle and nose guard, right? And then you played like damn near full.
He played football. That's what he played.
He was like the fridge. He was like Fridge 2.0 on offense. Like I'm just so glad I didn't play. I wanted to play defense, but I didn't want to hit people. And in offense, I didn't want to get hit. So it's perfect to play receiver. I tell you what, oh man, I'm just glad I never got hit by you. I'll tell you that.
Oh man, hey bro, thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate that. You have no idea how much that means, man. And like you said, a lot of people, especially outside that Viking family, didn't know what I was going through health wise. Fighting the injury, coming back, being afraid if I slip this or slip that because after that surgery, I had a plate and 4 screws in my neck. So the rest of my school career, I had reconstructed cervical spine. So it was nerve wracking, and just trying to stick with it was tough. The love game,
imagine. Yeah, but but now hearing that, I truly understand now why you were such a dog on the field, because you were like, man, I just got a second chance in life, and you got to go with that.
I really appreciate that, man. You guys were always tough. You guys were always tough. You know what I mean? To the point, like, man, you guys were always nasty. Always had our hands full. So
I tell you
I appreciate you guys.
The one thing about PV that I hated was you guys were just athletes. Whether it was playing football, basketball, even track.
Yeah,
you guys were athletes, and like everyone has those certain players that they always talk about in high school. They were like, yo, they were just crazy. And if anyone who went to Lansdale Catholic, you were there. I mean, they put up crazy numbers.
Yeah.
There was people in like PB, Potts Grove, Pot Sound. Man, you were definitely know that just. I remember, man, a dog,
legendary
dog, man, dog.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem. My pleasure.
Oh.
So Duke. Mm-hmm. So what do you do for work now? Or are you
Movie Tavern's not up and running as of right now. When I was with Movie Tavern, or when I was working at Movie Tavern when they're open, I was a manager there, and I went back and forth from when I was in Collegeville, I started out as a server, did a bartending, and then got into management with training and stuff like that. But originally, when I got the job, me and my mom were doing pretty poor financially, and it was a good way to help out with bills and food. But I also wanted to get better with eye contact and talking to people, and I thought that was one of the best ways. And that's one thing I think that you need to learn and need to start doing, and being able to adapt to people and relate to people. So being a manager, and especially during the holidays, you were dealing with 2,000-3,000 people a day, from Black Friday to mid-January, and that is probably the toughest part, but it's also one of the best parts, because you get to see family, friends, significant others, and they're just going out, and they're going to see a movie. It could be an hour and a half, could be 4 hours, whatever, but they're going out, and you want to make sure that they have that experience to make sure that they come back, and just put a smile on people's faces and making sure that people come in happy and leave happy. I think that's kind of the biggest thing for me.
I've always known you as well. When I met you, even Best Buy days, my very short Best Buy days, because once I figured out the discount was not that good, I left.
Not good at all.
I didn't even make it to Thanksgiving, but it was so bad. But Yeah, you always came across as a people guy. Remember, I kind of envy smokers. I don't know if you still smoke
Yeah,
now.
I'm still a cigarette smoker. Yeah, I'm still a cigarette
killing them
smoker.
Black and Milds back to
Yeah.
back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's right. You met me when I was a Black and Mild guy. Yeah,
I remember the
actually,
ride
I think
to
it
the
was.
trading place.
Oh man,
Black
yeah,
and Milds.
Black and Miles. Yeah, I don't miss those at all. I'm now a non-menthol Newport Red guy.
Well,
I hate to admit it, but it is what it is.
but the cigarette smokers know everyone at the job. That's the thing.
Right.
They're always the
Yeah.
most seem to be the most social people. They know everybody's business.
Yeah.
They know the politics. They pick up on the politics.
That's a good point. Especially in the restaurant business, like if there's one thing in the restaurant business, people like to go out, have a smoke, smoke their vape, whatever it is. There's a lot of people that will just go out just to get some fresh air and to be away from everybody. When you're working, especially at a place like mine, a cinema eatery is what Movie Tavern is considered, a cinema eatery. You go through a lot of, you see all types of people. It's like being at a mall. It's like being at the King of Prussia Mall. I mean, if you just sit on a bench for an hour and just watch people go by,
Right.
it's a little similar to the amount of people I see and on a daily basis. And even on like a Monday or Tuesday, not Tuesdays anymore, but a Monday or Wednesday, where it's like the slowest days, you'll still see like 300-500 people. So you're consistently around people, and and being a smoker, you can kind of go out and you get that fresh air. You get to be away from everybody, and you'll have people talk about how their day's going, whether it's good or bad. But at the end of the day, you're right. You kind of find that information that most people can't.
Yeah. So I was surprised.
You have
you
leverage.
feel like you always had that?
You have leverage being a smoker. You have leverage taking you never know. You got to make friends with the person with the pack of cigarettes, because you might be short on one.
Yeah.
Or you might just need their life.
That's true. That's true. The one thing I will say I dislike about being a smoker in the restaurant business is that everybody needs a damn cigarette, man. Everybody got, listen, everybody don't got money, the paycheck, get paycheck Friday, let me get a cigarette, man. I'm like, oh, come on, man. I just saw you with 9 cigarettes like 3 hours ago. You giving it off to people, you try to get $1 for a loose or something down, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. That's the most annoying part.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you feel like you needed to become a better, or maybe a better people person, or maybe serving people help you become a better people person. Do you ever thought that you ever lacked in that area?
Yeah, absolutely. I worked a lot of odd jobs before I got to the Movie Tavern. I'm talking a janitor at LA Fitness, an exterminator, Best Buy, Staples, Texas Roadhouse. I mean, just a cheesesteak spot. I mean, just some random ass places. So getting a feel for each different place, you're gonna fail before you actually get to where you want. And when I got with Movie Tavern, I mean, I was so overwhelmed by all the protocol and all the things that go there that the one thing my dad always says, you don't know, just ask questions. So I wasn't afraid to ask questions.
Right.
And that was the one place where I felt really comfortable, where I wasn't uncomfortable to ask questions. And I think that got me where I am today. That and just hard work and learning from my mistakes, learning from others' mistakes. But the speaking part, I think that was big for me because everybody knew me as kind of like Paul, but at the same time, fun to be around and entertaining. I wanted to make sure that I could get my point across, and I could do it with using the right words and being efficient, not using profanity all the time, because you're not going to get the point all the time with that, but using it when it's entertaining or comfortable in some ways. So I knew that talking to strangers and asking for the food orders and drink orders and whatever it was, and I knew that was going to help me with things. And even if it was that uncomfortable question or uncomfortable encounters where you're talking to someone and you guys are out of margarita mix, so you can't make margaritas for the night, and that's all they've been talking about, and that because as you're talking to one guest, they're talking about it down the row, and you're like, damn, I don't want to go to these people and tell them that we don't have it, but you got to kill them with kindness and just let them know. I'm not saying being fake, but and because I was watching that podcast from a couple days ago, how fake are you at
Yeah,
work?
yeah, yeah. You do your
Which I will
homework.
say,
You do your homework.
I'm not fake at work.
Not fake at
Not
work.
fake at.
Okay.
You got to
Hey,
keep,
wait, hold on. You work in the customer service industry and you're not fake at work?
mhm. No, no, and the reason there's times where you really want to say things and you really want to retaliate a certain way,
Right.
but at the end of the day, you have to put yourself in their shoes. And if it's a situation where they think like their server or maybe the host or somebody at box office was maybe giving them lip or something like that, I want to talk to uh, my employer and ask them, hey, what's going on? And then I'll talk to the
Right.
customer or guest and find out what it is. And there's times where you just gotta take a deep breath, take out. and just be like, hey, I know you're upset, and I'm sincerely sorry that you are, but we got to go with A and B and doing whatever. And sometimes, people are just so angry, and they have every reason to be angry, depending on the situation. But you just got to be as relaxed as possible, and you got to think about the situation. You got to think about that. At one
shoes, you'd be flipping your wig too. But company policy, right, makes the establishment absolutely right. Right? How do you handle that situation? Have you ever zoned out like, man, if this was me, I would be doing this? Have you ever done that? Or how do you handle
yeah.
that?
Without trying to get too specific, there's a situation where I thought a guest was really disrespecting my staff, and I wanted to take the staff's side on it, just because on the encounter that I had with that guest, I felt like he was just kind of being disrespectful, and I wanted him out of the building.
Right.
And he contacted corporate, and corporate talked to me and said, based on what you're telling me and based on what he's telling me, um, it's both sides are kind of believable. But what we would like you to do is send him a apology letter saying how um, you're not able, you're admitting to your mistakes and how you treated him. And it was hard. It was a tough pill for me to swallow.
Right.
And I took a day to think about it, and I was like, you know what? You've been with this job for this long,
Right.
and you don't want to have a bad image with the suits and ties above you.
Right.
So do what they want, but at the same time, be honest in that letter, and let bygones be bygones.
Right.
Have I seen that person again yet? No. But there may be a chance in the future.
Right.
And if he does, I'll welcome him with open arms, like a guest I've never seen before. And just let the punches roll. But it was a tough pill to swallow for sure.
Right.
And talking to my GM about it, it was something I didn't want to do, but I really enjoy my job, and I don't want a little thorn in the bush to kind of get in the way of things like that.
Right. Right.
So do you think can you zone out of work in the serving industry?
So I saw this question earlier, and I thought about it, and for me, the best way that I zone out is when I go out for a smoke.
Okay.
And see, it's hard for me though, because I don't have I'm not really accessible to my phone that much. So when I'm out there for 5 to 10 minutes at most, I'm looking at my phone. I'll try to answer text messages real quick, and then they'll be somebody will ask me like, "Hey, how's your day going?" And I'm like, I can't really, especially with NBA on, as I'm looking at the top right of me. I'm always looking at scores, so I'm always looking at scores, fantasy, whatever it is, and so sometimes I just have to put the phone down, take a couple drags, and just look around, just take some deep breaths, and kind of zone out. And it's not until I'm done with the cigarette, or somebody in Milwaukee's like, "Hey, we need a manager here," or "Jim, hey, we need you," and that's like, okay, now I gotta snap out of it and get right to it.
Right. Hey man, you handle it well, man. Because I can tell you, when dealing with a distracted server, it could be very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it's you at the end of the day, you, especially being a server and being a bartender, and it's just working for my way up, you realize that you try to please everybody and you try to make sure that everybody, especially servers and bartenders, are in the best situation to make money, and everyone around is in the best situation to work as hard as they can. It's not going to always work like that. And especially in the cinema eatery that we work at, I mean, things can be unpredictable. You know, the ice machine could stop working, the power could go out, the fire alarms could go off, which has happened before.
Yeah, you said it all the
Some
fire.
just some crazy stuff. I mean, it's just it. You never know at any given day. It's just that's one reason why I love that place too. Is that it's so unpredictable.
Right.
You never know what's gonna happen,
Right.
and you just never
Right,
know
right.
what's gonna happen.
Hey, James, you got some time to hang on the line?
Let's do it,
I'm
man.
All right, I'm gonna bring another call in. I'm gonna bring in Ashley. I'm gonna
Awesome.
bring in my man Ben. All right, hold on.
Actually, this is good because then I can get some time to.
Do you want me to mute you,
That's
or
something.
you
Hey,
get
I was
busy?
gonna say no. I'm gonna
Okay.
make sure I can send some people the link to this.
Okay.
Thing.
All right. Hello, Ashley.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Long time no see.
Yes, yes. How you been?
Good. Just in North Carolina.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh man, I'm living the dream here in Zoom land. With my
Yeah.
boy Ty, the Juice. And now you, yeah. We're
Yeah.
quarantined together. It's beautiful.
Right.
Technology's bringing us all together. So what do you do for work now?
So I've been a stay-at-home mom. My son Calvin is 6, my daughter Alice is 4. And my husband Chris, he's in the military. So moving around a lot, it's hard to get, a job and have a steady job. But I am starting nursing school in August. I'm going to be an RN. And I also right now I'm working in a nursing home and a rehabilitation center as a nurse's aide, which I've been really enjoying. And it's been really nice, especially in the last 6 months, to be able to help when they really need people. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on the front lines in a nursing home during
yeah,
coronavirus.
so
So what's your
yeah.
routine when you get home? Do you have to just leave all the clothes in the front door, or
So I
y'all don't know what to do?
typically come into the garage. Chris will leave a trash bag in the garage for me.
Wow.
I take my scrubs off, put it in my shoes, and put them in the trash bag. I go up, I throw everything right in the washer, get in the shower, and
Wow.
I try not to bring anything inside. So
But yeah,
yeah.
it's just like military times, right? This is
It's crazy. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah. So
Yeah.
can you zone out at work, or do you?
No. So, I try not to. And I really don't have the opportunity to, at work. I feel like especially now when families can't visit in nursing homes, and these people are already, they're lonely and most of them older. So sometimes we're the only face that they see all
Right.
day, and it's been like that for a long time. So,
Wow.
if they want to talk or, and a lot of them need help with things, whether it's getting dressed or eating or bathing, anything really. So I try to be present as much as possible at work. But when I'm home, I'll zone out if I am doing laundry or dishes, just the day-to-day stuff, especially as a mom, that is my time to zone out. For sure.
Let me bring one more person in. He's gonna. Oh, no, okay. No, that's all right. Go ahead. So Ashley, you say you can't zone out at work. So what about the people that are in there? Do you just have time to just kind of hang with them, talk with them, give them a
Try
time to kind
to.
of? Because I've been in hospital beds where, I've had major surgery and I couldn't really do anything, can't move, and your caretaker can be your best friend at times.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. And there's definitely residents that maybe you connect more, with others, and um like there's one resident now, and they're a really big football fan. And, I love the Philadelphia Eagles, and this guy, he loves the Green Bay Packers, and so we'll just talk football, like,
yeah,
back and forth. And he also really likes NASCAR, and I don't know anything about that really. But it's nice when residents can find, a nurse or an aide that they can really connect with, and feel like you have more of a connection than it's just this person
Hmm.
trying to help me when I can't help myself. And so, but it makes me feel good that I can help somebody and be there for someone,
yeah.
especially when their families can't visit and their friends. And it's just
Right,
crazy times right now.
Right.
So
right,
yeah.
right. If any of you other guys have questions,
Yes.
feel free to jump in.
So when you're at work, far as like zoning out at work, right? Do you ever find, because I spent a lot of time in the hospital, unfortunately, but I had a lot of time to
Yeah.
reflect there, and I found probably some of the better parts of me while I had times in there. Um, but do you ever find yourself zoning out, thinking about, man, this could be a loved one, this could be my family member? What if, you know, this was more personal than it is just business? Do you ever find yourself zoning out about that, and do you zone out in a sense that makes you, now that you can kind of put that into correlation, do you makes you want to work better and work harder for that patient?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like no matter how messed up or how bad our days are, it could always be worse. Our days could always be worse. And especially when you see people like that, that are bedridden and they can't see their families, and it makes me want to be a better person,
Right.
and put on a better face, and really try to be there for them. You know, that's why I want to be a nurse, because I want to help make people feel good, and help people. And so yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I
Because
would.
I'm some of the best people I met in my life were actually my nurses. I spent a year
mhm,
in a acute rehab facility, learning how to walk again.
Oh. Oh yeah.
So that was rough, and
Yeah.
that was tough. And some of those people were, don't get me wrong, I had some very, very nasty ones that I thought shouldn't have been nurses. They should have just gave that up a long time ago. But I've met also
Yeah.
along that way, I've met some of the
mhm.
best people I've ever met in my life. Just really, really nice, genuine people at heart that will give you the shirt off their back, and the shoes off their feet. And one thing I kept hearing, it was like, man, I see you, you're so young, you're going through it. I can only imagine if that was my son. Like, I see you, I see my son, or I see you, I see my nephew. And that's what made me ask you, when you zone out in some circumstances, can you see that being someone else, and it actually makes you want to, attend a little bit harder because you can see it being someone else in your family?
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially when we get patients in who have similar diagnoses to what maybe has been in my family. Like my mom had cancer, and my aunt and my grandfather. And so when we get patients in who, are maybe dying, they have terminal cancer, and this is where they're gonna be the rest of their life, for sure. I think about, my family, and if that was my family member, and how I would want them to be treated, and really trying to be there for that person.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Nursing is something that you do from the heart. It's not just, hey, I need a job, let me be a nurse. That's it. Shouldn't be. It definitely shouldn't be like that because you know,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's something you do like teaching and nursing. The caretakers, I really value them because it makes your experience, you need it in that moment, so much better, and it can really make a huge difference in recovery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I got Gerard, I'm gonna hey Gerard, can you hear me? See, I'm giving him some time.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. No.
Hey, how you doing? I know you on the run. I want to make sure you get in here, give you a
Yeah.
shout out and get out if you got to.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I came in on the latter part. First of all, hey, how everyone doing
What's
today?
going on, Gerard?
How you
Hey,
doing, man?
nothing much, Juice. Hey, Tyrone. I was just listening to Ashley talk about nursing, so I'm not really sure what's the topic
Yeah.
of discussion.
So
What
so
am I
the
missing?
topic, yeah. So the topic of the day, well, yeah, you state who you are and what you do for work, and do you zone out at work or have you zoned out at work? And help you.
Oh man, that's a very original topic. I don't feel like a lot of people talk about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. So obviously, Gerard Lindsay. I work at Citibank over in Florence, Kentucky. It's a contact center. We've transitioned to a work from home process right now. So, but there
Okay.
are definitely times where I'm kind of zoned out. I think while I like what I do and I like the people I work with, right, especially working from home, it's easier to zone out. And then just with what's going on in the world today, I found myself being more awakened and more passionate about different things. So it's kind of hard for me to stay in the work zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many other things that I really want to devote my time and attention to.
Yeah, and tell people right now, because I know you got something going on tomorrow, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, man, I think with everything with the social unrest, right? It
He
it
took the mask
really
off. I want everybody to know that. Took the
Yeah,
mask
he
off.
took the mask
yeah,
All
off.
right, took it off.
for sure. Nah, man. So I always considered myself, and me and Leland, we used to have conversations, right? But I've always
Yeah.
considered myself a person who was aware of what's going on and definitely aware of what the Black community, the challenges and barriers they face, right? But just even more so lately, I think I took it upon myself to start speaking to people who are in my immediate friend group, right? Like on social media and things of that nature. And me and a good friend of mine started a podcast. We call it The Discussion. And what we focus on is local area issues within Cincinnati. And we really just try, like, we have access to people in professional, like directors of homeless shelters or
Mm-hmm.
directors of different businesses, access to people that other people within our friend group or our radius don't have access to. So what we try to do is we try to bring those people in on our platform and just to kind of speak to people who don't have access to them. So there's low income communities who don't have access to the directors of homeless shelters, who don't have access to to the United Way directors and things of that nature. So that's one of the things I saw. We just recently started a book club, Cognac and Coffee, man. So
Okay.
Thumbs
Hey,
yeah,
up.
send me
for
the invite.
sure.
I'm back in
Hey,
town. I'm back
thumbs
in
up.
town, bro.
I like
Listen.
Hey,
that.
Send.
I
and we
like
do it,
that.
and we do it virtually, right? Like last week was the first one, or not last week, but last month. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with Ta-Nehisi Coates,
Oh
Between
yeah,
the World
Tiny
and
Coast.
Me.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's the first book we read. This actually next Wednesday we're doing Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the idea behind Cognac and Coffee, man, we all like to go out. We all, well, I know me and my friend group, right, like to go out, go to bars and stuff like that. But also, we felt there was a need to have like intellectual conversation. Like
Yeah.
you could go out to bars, and I didn't want, and I'm a big sports fan, huge sports fan, but I also wanted the conversation to run a little bit deeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think with the book topics that we've discussing or we're reading, Cognac and Coffee allows that to happen for sure. So those are a couple things that I'm working on right now, man, for sure.
I
Hey,
like that.
Yeah.
big thumbs up. You know what I mean? Listen, that to me speaks volumes. Leland knows how I feel. We have plenty of conversation about what's going on in today's environment, in today's society. You know, cognac, cognac and coffee is such a dope
Yeah,
idea. It's such a dope
yeah,
name. It is amazing. And the reason why it stands out to me is because, especially if you're one that is definitely socially aware, the stigma is if you want to hide it from someone that looks like us or have us complain, you
yeah,
put it in the book. And
for sure.
unfortunately, that is a true statement that has circulated. I've heard it from all walks of life. But if you want to hide it from someone of darker skin, you put it in the book. And it's time that
Hmm.
it is really, really time that we put that stigma to rest. We are
Agreed.
intellectually smart, and for me,
And
when
we read.
right, and being a big sports fan and being an athlete and playing almost every level of football there is besides the highest level.
Yeah.
Going into the Arena League, playing in the AFL. Listen, all of that was fun, but to me, I'm more than an athlete. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
started to lose.
Yeah.
I started to lose faith in our sports because
Hmm.
it's just like shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
That bothered me. You know what I mean? But even
Hmm.
though it's not being said all the time out loud, that's kind of the
Hmm.
viewpoint. I'm an athlete. I'm a football player. That's it. I go out and I entertain. I'm more than an entertainer. You know what I mean? I have very intellectual thoughts. We can hold intellectual conversations, and if we put the right
For
minds
sure.
together, that we can begin to build the bridge and build the gap and mend the gap, should I say, and build that
Yeah.
bridge that we all can come together and all move forward and figure out a better solution than whatever has been going on, because it's just not working. And one of the books I just got finished reading, it's called The New Jim Crow. Absolutely
Yeah.
phenomenal book. I will
Yeah.
recommend anyone and everyone to read it. And it's huge. But shout out to you brothers for Cognac and Coffee. That is huge. Send us the
Yeah.
information. I want to be involved. I want to support. I actually want to read with you
Absolutely.
guys. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Same here.
And
Yeah,
I
I'd be
definitely
interested in what books you're reading.
Yeah.
I want to add those to my list for sure.
say that. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Ashley.
Oh, I said, yeah, I would love to know what books you're reading. I would love to add that to my reading list,
Nah, for sure. I definitely get Leland that information, and he can disseminate it to you all, man. And Tyrone, just to go back to what you were saying, man, I'm definitely on the same wave. I think a lot of times within the Black community, we, especially, I feel like if you grow up impoverished, you see entertainers, you see music, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see athletes, right? And I know for me personally, I don't want to speak for everyone. I felt like those were kind of the only avenues that you really had, right? I went to college not even knowing what I wanted to go to college for. I just felt like it was something different
Mm-hmm.
that I could do, right? So I think one of the biggest things that I want to do personally is make reading cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I still know a lot of people
Oh, yeah.
in my community and within my friend group who don't read, right? And just the way technology is moving, I think there is such a gap, right? And even with kids not being able to go to school this upcoming year for a full school year, right? I think there's so many gaps that need to be filled. So, man, I really appreciate you, Leland, what you're doing, man. I really appreciate you all just
Hey,
allowing
man.
me to speak to this, man. And I
Hey,
So
man.
appreciate
I'm
that topic.
quick
I'm
story,
glad.
and I want you to take this to your group. This is
Yeah.
so everyone, Leland, when I was 15, 16, I had a really, really bad neck injury. Broke my neck,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
right? So the doctors came out after I had a MRI, I had a CAT scan, right? Had an MRI, all of that. The neck came back. The doctor came. Now, I mean to tell you, I am 15, 16 years old, and at this point, I can't feel my legs. I can't move.
Wow.
Right? The tears are rolling down my face, and I can't feel them. My mother kisses my face, and I can't feel it. Right? So the doctor comes back into the room, says, "Okay, he has to have an emergency surgery, and we need to transfer him to CHOP." Cool. My first question to him, my very, very first question to him: will I be able to play football again?
Mm.
That would
Mm.
not will I walk again? Not will I ever
Mm.
be able to play kids? Not will I ever have kids? None of that. My first question is,
Right.
will I be able to play football again? Because for me, that was how I was going to get my family and change my family's reality. When he
Mhm.
told me, when he said, "Son, you're very brave, but you'll be lucky if you walk again." Probably the second thing I said, because I'm not going to exaggerate. Probably the second thing I said, I looked over to my mom and I said, "Mom, I'm sorry.
Mm.
Mm.
Mom, I'm
Mm.
sorry." Because football was how I was going to change my family's reality. That is all I knew.
Mhm.
That was my way out.
Mhm.
That was my ticket out. That was how we was going to change coming up in North Philadelphia and West Oak Lane and all of that. That's how I was going to change it. I had to make it. And that was the only way I see myself making it. So when you talked about that, that kind of hit home and it struck a nerve for me, because I remember having that
Mhm.
conversation and apologizing to my mom that I got hurt. Sorry, Mom, I got hurt.
Man, Steve.
So
Ty-
you keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Juice.
Hey, no, Tyrone. I wanted to piggyback on what you said because in the podcast, I'm not sure if it was the first one or the second one, but you said, quote, felt like being in a coffin, but you could just hear everything. And
Wow.
honestly, that was really deep to me. At that point, I was like, you didn't hear me before when I got on, but I was calling him how much of a dog he was in football back in the day, and that just kind of
Yeah.
goes to show um, his determination and his motivation and why he was just such a dog and such just a beast on the field. And let me just say also, Ashley, Rod, you guys have awesome stories, and it was definitely appreciative to be able to hear that and what you guys do. Definitely an awesome movement, definitely a positive movement for sure too.
Yeah, yeah. I
Thank
mean,
you.
me and Gerard, I think he brought me to the University of Cincinnati campus, and we were part of a mastermind group.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was us and a few other black men, and we was just planning and talking and networking, and it was beautiful. And I was new to the city, and I really appreciated that, man. Do y'all
Yeah,
still meet
man.
up?
Yeah, so actually, so the guy who brought, man, amazing story, right? The guy who actually started that, Jub Sankofa, right? So I'm not sure if you all are familiar with the Sankofa bird, but it's symbolic of the African proverb where it's a bird and it's looking back and it's basically stating that we will never forget those of which we came from or the places of which we came from. We will always go back, right?
Right.
So it's just about that hand giving back. And the guy Jeff who started that was in prison, came home from prison, graduated from the University of Cincinnati, then went to get his master's at UCLA, and now is writing his dissertation for Yale. So I just wanted to, I always love to share his story
Yeah,
because this is a guy who went to prison. Now he's getting his doctorate from Yale. So, but no, we actually he moved. So now he's in New York. We still like the core four of us. We still meet, but the entire group, everyone else is doing different things. We still stay in
yeah.
touch, but we're all doing different things, man. But the premise
That's nice.
behind that mastermind group is to go to Tyrone's point where a lot of when we're growing up, you know, and we're thinking football is the only way out, man. And even that burden, I just want to emphasize the burden of feeling like you're 16 and you got your family on your back. Like a lot of people don't think like that, right? You know, to be 16 and I need to be the one to take my family out, right? But like now we're trying to do things with investing in real estate and so we're just trying to broaden the scope. So those are some of the things that we're working on now. Sharing information, man. That's all we really do is share information.
Yeah, we gonna link up again because me and Todd
For sure.
we're gonna get into these mobile homes.
Yeah.
We're gonna invest in some mobile homes
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
yeah,
That's our
man, get a
next
whole
move.
park.
Sure.
That's our next move, guys.
Hey,
Yeah,
I got to drop off, fellas. I got
yeah,
to
man.
drop off. I'm driving now. But hey, much love, man. I really appreciate what y'all doing. Leland, man, keep me connected with this, man. And you know what I'm saying? If I can ever jump back on and things like that, and just get some of this information. Because I feel like I was jumping in on a good conversation. So let
Hey,
me know, man. And I hope we can all meet again for sure.
Thursday at 9 o'clock. Every Thursday at 9 o'clock, man.
Hey, sounds good, man. Sounds good. Much love, y'all.
Much love.
All
Salute,
right,
Nice
soldier.
all
meeting
right.
you, Gerard.
Salute, soldier.
See you,
Peace.
right? All right. So I got another. Since we were talking sports, I got a legend on the line. Ben Berry. How you doing, brother?
I mean, you use my name and legend, man. I think you're mistaken. I'm just a dude from the city, man. No
I love
legend
the
over
shirt,
here,
man.
man.
Love the
Thank
shirt.
you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. So let the
if
people
I'm
know
a
who you are, what do you do, and do you zone out at work?
Ben Berry, I'm in sports broadcasting. Been in radio and television since my freshman year of college. I've been doing this enough to live off it for almost 8 years now. Sometime at ESPN, Sirius XM now, NBC Sports Philadelphia. Do I zone out at work? I mean, hopefully no one above me ever sees this, but I mean, who doesn't zone out at work? And I'll come back to it and be like, yo, it's been like a good hour since I actually did anything productive.
Right.
Like, what was I just doing? Like, yo, how am I at work? Yo, I swear I was just on the beach.
Right.
So, yeah, zone out at work.
Yeah. See, I looked up some definitions of zoning out, and it just means that your brain is switched to autopilot. Doesn't necessarily mean you stop working. but you're skilled, you're educated, you have all of the certifications, you know what you're doing. You just might be thinking about lunch while you're doing your thing on the
Yeah,
clock.
or thinking about getting home, getting my little workout in, or just doing something to decompress. Yeah, we all zone out. Like I
Mhm.
would say, we all drive and whatnot. So if we, driving to DC or New York,
There
hit
you
the
go.
road, you might think like, yo, I don't even remember driving by this stop or this rest stop, or
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
remember any of it because you're just in the zone. So there's times like, since I've been doing this for so long and I'm not an expert by any means, I got a lot to learn. Anytime you think you don't have anything left to learn, that's probably when someone's passing you by.
That's the
I
truth.
got a lot to learn, but since I've been doing it for so long, some things like editing for the most part, if it's a basic cut and paste or something, or censoring, it's easy. Like I really don't need to think about it. Just find out where it is and do it. Like
Right.
Right.
it's not much thought that goes into it. Zoning out, it happens.
Yeah, we definitely we need some help with the editing for sure.
Hey, I'm gonna
So,
tell you, I zoned out.
we are locked in.
I'm trying. Can you? What does your shirt say? I don't know if everyone can see it. What does it say?
So
July
let me-
4th, Juneteenth.
1 second, the earbuds came out. My fault. This ain't
Okay.
professional on my end.
You sound good. I can still hear you. Yeah, those earbuds, man, they always falling out of my ears.
The Apple ones?
You guys got me?
Yeah. Is those
Yeah,
Apple?
yeah, I can still hear
Yeah, I
you.
got it. Okay.
Yeah, the
Okay,
earbud. I
there
got
you
a
go.
little Christmas gift. So it's like Juneteenth,
1865.
That is huge.
because
Do you know?
Because my
you know-
ancestors.
You know how big that is? You know how big Juneteenth is? And the crazy part is we don't learn about it in school. We don't.
Nah, you don't learn about that. Like a lot of people, unfortunately, in the past 4 months, learned about Juneteenth, Black Wall Street, the riots in Tulsa, the riots in Wilmington. There's people that don't know about Emmett Till.
Right.
And before I moved back to the area, I was in DC for 4 years. So they got the new African American museum,
Right.
the Smithsonian joint. And it was people I went with, Black, white, Latino, didn't know about Emmett Till. They got a casket. They got his casket down there. They had never learned about those things. And so I know Leland, like I mean, the rest of you guys for the first time, but I know those are things that your parents put in your head to say, "Wait,
Oh,
my
yeah.
mom put in mine."
Right.
So like,
Right.
it's in a sense like a privilege. Like like people put that in our heads, like made sure we know about it. So when I got to college, I went to college in Virginia. It was brothers I knew that didn't know what the Mason-Dixon line was.
Right.
So it's
Mhm.
amazing, like where you grow up and what you learn and how different it is, and like how whitewashed the history can be.
So can I ask a question? Have we zoned out as a culture, as a society in general? Have we zoned out teaching history in its complete state? Have we zoned out to just accept what it is that we are given and then that's it? Because we've all have done, us being young adults, right? We have a generation behind us that we have to look out for. Right. So do we take the responsibility, everybody from every race, every walk of life, to teach the history in full and not zone out on just what's been spoon fed to us, but go into it deep?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Ash.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Sorry. I know I'm white and I'm a female, and I fully recognize that I am privileged, and the stuff that's happened in the last few months is just, it's been a long time coming, I think. And I think that we are definitely responsible to raise the next generation to be better and to do better. I've always been outspoken as far as the Black Lives Movement and all of that goes, but really not just being not racist, but anti-racist, and speaking up when there's wrongdoings. And I bought a book recently about how to raise your kids to be anti-racist, because I think that's really important. When we have I mean, my children are white, and I want them to speak up when there's wrongdoings, and I want them to be anti-racist. And in school, I mean, we went to the same high school, Leland and
Mm-hmm.
Ty, and we were never taught about Juneteenth
Never.
or
No, definitely not in school. No.
I mean, we weren't taught any of that, and I think that is leaving out a big part of history. And I think that all needs to change.
Yeah, being
Yeah.
anti-racist, that's something that I never had to think about because yeah, that's not a choice being anti-racist versus what did you say, non-racist or not racist?
Yeah, you can consider yourself, I mean, I guess what, not being racist, but that's not, that's not okay. You need to do better. You need to be
Mhm.
anti-racist. You need to speak up
Right.
when you see racism happening, not just, not being racist, but being
Right.
anti-racist.
Right. Right.
Let me say this. And in school, I can tell you in school that I learned in the Holocaust, right? 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust, right? I could tell you I knew that number off back, right?
Right.
But it wasn't until I got out of school, out of college, and got into the real world that I learned that over 220 million Black people died in just the Middle Passage alone in the time of slavery. Those
Mm.
type of numbers, is mind blowing that, especially as being a Black man, I can quote someone else's history and tragedies off the top of my head, but I had to dig deep. I had to read books and meet the right people to learn those
Yeah.
same kind of numbers about my history and my ancestors too as well. So again, like Ashley said, we have to take a better approach and a more purposely approach in teaching the whole story for the next generation coming up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Ben, anything you need to get off your chest, in your industry right now, or maybe just in your life?
Oh, how much time y'all got?
Go ahead. This is therapy. This is therapy.
Oh man, I'm not paying y'all. So where do I start? To piggyback what Ty just said about the Holocaust. Adolf Hitler. I just picked up a book. I pulled up the title, Hitler's American Model, and it's crazy.
A
Like
crazy book.
whole Nazi Germany. Oh, you read it?
Yeah.
So yeah, like it was. He got his whole model from how Americans treated Black people for hundreds of years. So like I'm starting this off, and it's just crazy. And it's one of those things that if we're zoning out with education in the school system, like it's predicated by politicians, not educators.
Right.
So politicians is only letting these kids learn what they want them to know. Like I know a couple years ago in Texas, they were trying to take slavery out of the school system. They wanted to turn them all into free labor, which wow.
Yeah. Free laborers,
So,
yes.
Yeah. Or that like George Washington's teeth wasn't made out of wood. That's something we were all taught as a kid.
Right.
And I know people that just learned 2 months ago that it wasn't made out of wood. So I feel a little better. Something else I want to get off my shoulders, get off my chest. Sports are coming back.
Yeah.
And I work in sports. I'm happy for it. I need sports to be back because I like having a paycheck every other Friday. I like paying my bills. I don't think a lot of people thought this through because the Marlins trying to play a game when they got 14, 15 up to 19 positive tests, and they shut that thing down. And now the
goddamn idiots.
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 Like again, hopefully my bosses never hear this. I don't care about baseball. I've worked a morning baseball show for 4 years. I told people after the people that was done tearing down those statues, if they take a request, hit up Sally Mae and hit up baseball. They didn't do either one of those things. And I don't know if they missed my memo or whatever. But yeah, like baseball is like in this limbo right now where people think they're gonna make it through, and I don't know if that's really any. They weren't a weekend before they had an outbreak. We got football around the corner in less than 2 months, and 5 weeks actually.
Yeah.
I don't know how. It's 100 dudes on the team.
Yeah, how's it?
Let me
That's just
Players,
players. Yeah, you got
players, the
staff.
coaches,
Yeah.
trainers, equipment managers. I don't know. I don't think it's any reasonable expectation for us to believe, unless they come up with a cure out of nowhere, that the NFL season is going to make it through, because they're not in a bubble. They're still
Right.
using airports, the public airports to go through. It's just wild. Like the NBA, NHL, they're doing it. I was a little skeptical, especially the NBA, especially when people tested positive. The Lou Williams with the Magic City.
Yeah.
But then I felt bad.
He wanted some wings, man.
Right. And
Yeah,
I
the
was hoping-
wings.
what's
He
the
wanted
White
some
Howard's
wings.
excuse? What's the White Howard's excuse?
Well, he's just not smart. You can't.
Well, he's
listen
just
to
a
anyone
damn
they put
fool.
you can't listen to everyone they put a microphone in front.
Yeah,
Lou
he's just a
Will,
damn
like,
fool.
I'm gonna say it on my pod tomorrow, but I say it here because I'm here. I apologize. I was too harsh on you. Word on the street and around the world is Magic City got the best wings in the world, and they
Right.
named a batch of wings after you. I
Yeah,
apologize.
He's a legend. He's a
let's-
legend. Huh?
Let's be upset at the dude that was dry stitching for putting it on Instagram.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What kind of
Everything
ball
don't need-
bag? What kind of ball bag snitches like that, man?
Yeah, everything don't need.
Come
everything
on,
don't
man.
need
Look.
to be on the gram. So
Look.
I think we'll make through with the NBA, NHL. Then we'll have like your NASCAR, your boxing, and your MMA, because boxing and MMA never went anywhere.
Right.
But like baseball and football, I be completely honest with you guys, I'm not optimistic that we'll
No.
make
it's
it
not
to
happening.
champion World Series or the Super Bowl. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
nice
not
to
happening.
get that off my chest.
Yeah.
He's about 30
Yeah,
pounds
that was
lighter
beautiful.
now.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
feels good. It feels good, doesn't it?
I can keep going if y'all need takes. I watched the new
Let
season
me-
of Last Chance U.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was great.
is it good?
It's good. It's not as good as the first several.
Don't
seasons.
don't tell me anything
All right.
else. Don't tell me anything
All
else.
right.
So I'll let
Man, you
Juice
just-
get off what he needs to get off on his chest, because he looked
Well,
like he
yeah,
was about to explode when he was talking about sports.
Well, let me just piggyback off what Ben said, because let me just say, we got to give a round of applause to the NBA and the NHL, because
Yeah.
they stayed in one location, they made a bubble thing, and not only NBA reported last week they had 0 cases since July 13th. They just reported like a day or two ago that they've been 0 cases again for like the second week in a row. So we got to give them a lot of props. NHL, I don't know where in the hell in Canada they're doing it, but they're doing it really well. And they just
Edmonton and Vancouver, I think, or Edmonton and Toronto.
so they're in two
something
different
like
spots. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
and real
listen.
quick, and while you at it, shout out UFC, those that pay attention. He got a whole
UFC?
island. Like-
Hey, UFC and the MLS. I mean, I know no one watches the MLS, and I don't blame them, with no disrespect,
Oh, yeah.
but they're doing things right, and we
Well,
got
people watching it now.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it's,
I mean,
if it's
look,
on my TV, I'm
yeah,
watching.
we got to give respect where it's due,
It's
but
football. ain't coming.
you know, just not really. I'm not really wasn't really excited for sports to come back, because I'm just worried about the safety and the health of everybody, whether it's
Mhm.
from the coaches to, you know, the people, you know, drying off the court and, you know, stuff like that, the Zamboni people. I'm always worried about safety and health, and just the fact that you hear the good news about the NBA and just how high security it is and all the snitching that's going around. I mean, we can call it what it is and joke about it, but they're doing a really good job, and that really speaks volumes. And just to hear about with the MLB, I mean, from before you even heard about the Miami Marlins and before they even started their season, they don't have a living and breathing commissioner. The fact that they went from 60 games as opposed to trying to do 162, which they probably could if they would have been smart and had Arizona and Florida bubble where they have their spring training, but they decided not to do that, and they let every single team travel to airports, like Ben said, which is an idiotic move to begin with. And then you even have a team like the Toronto Blue Jays that the mayor, I'm not sure if it was the mayor, somebody in Toronto told them that, look, you're not gonna play in Toronto. You're not gonna use this as a home field, and then let other teams from the U.S. Come into Canada, and they could even spread coronavirus even more to our country, which is great on Canada's part. And now you have who I think they're playing in Buffalo now. I mean, like, what a mess. I mean, it's just a mess. And then you hear this stuff with COVID. And to me, I think the NFL was looking at the MLB and being like, okay, you guys are traveling around. Like, we're going to do everything that you're going to do. And hopefully that would either. They're not going to do it now.
Yeah, it's not.
They're not going to follow the MLB now. So to me, it's just like if the MLB can't get it right, there's no way the NFL is going to get it
How
right.
could
Ben,
you?
I agree with you.
How could you?
How could you? And another thing too that really upsets me with college, like college football, and they're allowing some of the players to play. So they're not going to play conference games. They're just going to, they're not going to play non-conference games. They'll just play conference games.
Because the Rona don't hop from the ACC to the
to the Big Ten
right,
or to the Big 12, right?
Yeah, no.
That makes so much sense. But the biggest thing what the colleges are doing, like Ohio State, which listen, I can go on and on about Ohio
Conference
State
is the
because I'm a
bubble
Michigan
itself.
fan. Right, like that even makes sense. But what Ohio State came out and did is that they'll let players come out and play on the team, but they got to sign a waiver that says if you get COVID, it's not our fault. And I'm sorry, man, that's bullshit.
Right.
Okay, that's bullshit.
Can I say
That's-
something?
Oh, you mean the same NCAA
that won't pay the
that
players?
does not pay players? Won't
Oh
pay,
yeah, that
won't
one,
allow
yeah,
players-
that one. Yep.
and won't even allow players to get paid by other people.
Right.
They are
On the
closing school. The schools are shut down, but the football team is expected to go and entertain people.
Priorities.
And go back to class online. Yeah.
Priorities.
Don't
Oh,
get
that
paid.
NCAA? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
don't get paid. And by the way, sign your life away too as well, because you are not that you haven't already signed your life away, but the second life that you was gonna get, hopefully COVID free, you sign that one away too as well. While you have it,
Yeah.
you know, what?
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on, man.
And I just want to throw out that it was the University of Ohio State or Ohio State University who started it. I don't like Ohio State, so I just had to throw that out there. And,
Oh, Ohio
that's that.
University? Or are you saying?
No, overrated state, Ohio State, whichever you want to call them. 'Cause I'm a Michigan fan, so I had to throw that out there.
Okay.
Especially living in Columbus.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. I'll
That's
leave
right
it at that.
So, Ashley, you are a mother of two, yes?
Yeah.
Mother of two, working in the nursing home.
Hey,
I know you have something to get off your chest. The floor is yours.
You know, I think I'm pretty lucky. You know, I work PRN, which means I can work as much or as little as I want or need to. But I really feel for my coworkers who, you know, they're working full time, and they need to work full time to keep their benefits. You know, I'm really lucky because my husband's in the military, so we have pretty good benefits there. But you know, it's stressful because some of my coworkers, they have kids at home, or you know, they have older parents that they live with, or that live with them, and you know, they have to work. You know, they have to keep their job to keep their benefits, and we're overworked. You know, like they're really overworked right now. And we need nurses and we need nurse aides, and it is a field to be in right now.
Right.
You know, so I'm okay, but I do feel for you know my coworkers who do have, you know, they have to work full time. They don't really have a choice unless they quit their job. So it's rough, you know, and we've been really fortunate. We haven't had any COVID positive cases.
Okay.
But I'm getting tested next week. We all have to get tested next week. It's state mandated. So
Okay.
we'll see how that goes.
Have you
But
been tested yet at all?
no, I haven't been tested
Okay.
yet. But we all get tested next week. But if anyone gets a positive test, then, you know, they can't work for 2
Wow.
weeks. We have to
Right.
have 2 negative tests before we can go back to work.
Now, are those
you know,
days
healthcare-
paid?
So it comes out of your PTO first, and then after that,
What?
then it'll be, yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, it'll be, you know, like FLMA, I think it's called.
Yeah, FMLA. Yep.
Yeah. So that's
I had
great.
a test about a week ago, and they didn't have it wasn't like the really long, like thing they shove up your nose. It was a short swab, but the lady just kept swabbing over and over and over and over in my right nostril,
Okay.
and my eyes are just watering, and I feel like I'm gonna have to sneeze, and then she goes, okay, now go to the other one, and I didn't think I was gonna make it,
Both
but
sides? Oh gosh.
yeah. So
Yeah.
brace yourself. There's really no way to get ready for it. I don't know if she was just she was just really, she needs to feel secure about her job. She was very thorough, the paperwork and all that. But
Oh,
yeah,
I'm a
hopefully your
wuss when it
experience.
comes to that kind of thing. I had to get a flu test back in January or February. I had the flu. It was the first time I've had the flu since
Oh.
ever. It was my first time. And they have to stick that thing up your nose, but it's just a small one. It's not very big, but this one for COVID is like really long and it's supposed to go back really far, and I'm not looking forward to it. So,
Yeah, man.
oh man.
Well,
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Ty.
oh man, I'm getting off my chest today. Well,
Yeah.
a parent of three, okay, and a father of three. Very, very proud of them. I am excited about the school year, because of their new journey going virtual, right? Which I think is really, really good because I think the world was moving towards that way anyway. So I think it's really good practice for them getting prepared for that, right? But I have to get this off my chest. For you parents that are protesting and boycotting the city hall meetings where I am locally, right? Trying to force the state to open up the schools for everyone. I think I think that is a little bit crazy, and I don't understand it. I don't understand why we are trying to force our kids to go into an environment that we as adults have no idea how it works. We see what's going on, and we're trying to put our teachers at risk who don't get paid enough as it is, right? And you're about to put them at risk, and then you're putting these kids in an environment where they can contract a virus that cannot be seen. We don't have enough data how it can affect them long term. We know that most children, if they get it younger, it doesn't really affect them right away, but we don't know how it affects them long term. What's the long term repercussions of having the virus? But then we also know that they have to go home to parents that have pre health conditions, and older. Some kids go live with their grandparents. So what about those kids? So why are we forcing this situation at this point? Now I know some parents have to go to work. It's hard to find a babysitter. It's hard to find childcare, things of that nature, especially right now. But at this point, I think that we're doing more harm than good by trying to force these schools to open up and force these kids into a school when there's no safe way to do it. And I mean, even if you could give me one option or two options of a safe way to do it, but you can't because it does not exist. There's no safe way to do it. He has some proposal where they're going to try to make one directional hallways so the kids can all move in one direction. But the school wasn't built that way. So how do you do that? How do you keep these kids socially distanced at lunch or recess? How do you keep them socially distanced at phys ed? The classrooms are already overcrowded, especially the schools that's in the inner city that has 30 kids in the classroom. What are we doing here? What are we doing? So that is something I have to get off my chest. It really bothers me that, just because a lot of you guys are frustrated with your kids at home because you're not used to dealing with them this long, you know, don't put everybody else's kids at risk. So that's ultimately what I have to say.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Any last words from anyone else before me and Ty close out the show?
Yeah. First and foremost, I want to appreciate you guys for getting me on here. This is really dope. Love the vibe here. Actually, let me just say for you for being what I would say a true essential worker.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything that you do.
Yes.
It really. I have somebody my sister works in the same line of business, and it's people like you ladies where you really enjoy what you do, and you sincerely want to help people, and we need more people like that in this life. And yeah, I tip my hat off to you. That
Thank
love
you.
what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
you.
Thank you so much. Shout out to your sister. Shout out to my mom who works in that same field, that same line of work, and
Absolutely,
everyone else, man. I
absolutely.
really appreciate you guys. It's huge. And to you, my brother, Juice Man. Hey, I see you repping it that We Don't Quit Fitness
Yeah,
shirt.
man. That's
Shout
Yeah.
out
right.
to the
That's
Acelera
right, man.
brothers for that. You know what I mean?
That's right, man.
That's a huge movement going
Absolutely.
on. So shout out,
I,
man. That's dope.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I try to talk to them like once a week and just let them know I really respect the movement. It's crazy though, because I always want to take pictures of when I have it on, when I'm actually going out doing stuff. But I always damn forget. I'm sweating so damn much. I take the shirt off. I always forget.
Right.
But one of these days,
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
one
show
of you
them some love,
tell
for sure.
Sabri to get on the show. I'm trying to get him on the show, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a busy
Next
man.
time
He's
you
always
talk to him.
working out,
He is
man.
busy.
He's always working out.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna make sure we get you a AG shirt too as well, elbow grease.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Oh,
got you.
bring it, man.
that We
Bring
Don't
it.
Quit
Bring it.
Fitness. That's the shirt for the gym, getting your money that way. And elbow grease when
Oh, yeah.
you're an entrepreneur, you're working, you're getting your grind on making that money.
Yeah.
Make sure you rock out the EG shirt.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, everyone.
I
Everybody,
love free merch, man.
Yeah, everybody
Even if I
that's
gotta
been a
pay
guest
for
so
it,
far,
I'll do
we
it
gonna
too.
make sure
I'm
you
all for it,
get
man. Hell yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for supporting people back on for sure.
Yeah, man.
I just
All
want
right,
to say
guys.
thanks for having me. I really appreciate you what you guys are doing, and keep that up.